I took my initial investment of about $20,000 just about a year ago, and in a year, turned that initial investment into about $150,000. And that's not counting additional investments that also have went well. And I've done this with paying zero taxes legally, doing almost no trades, just a couple moves. And in this video, I'm going to talk to you about my cryptocurrency strategy, really my Bitcoin strategy, but cryptocurrency strategy for the end of 2021, for the start of 2022. I'm not telling you that just to flex in terms of the numbers. I'm telling you that to say, I actually know something. I can actually help you. I want to help you. I feel an obligation. I feel a moral impetus to help you. I care about you. I want to see you win. I want to see you succeed. I want to see everybody win. I want to see everybody succeed. Everybody can win. Everybody can succeed. We have this tyrant of inflation stealing our money. Is really an understanding what that is, why that's coming from. And so in this video, we're going to get into my cryptocurrency strategy, how I was able to do that, 7x my net worth in a year, and how it's possible that you could too. Okay, sounds good. Welcome in, fam. Much love, Trav here. Make sure to watch to the end because I have an opportunity and an offer for those of you who are really interested in this stuff and want to work with me closer. So make sure to stick around to the end where we're going to talk about that. Now, if you 7x your net worth every year, which would be ridiculous to do, but if you start with $1,000, in 1 year you have $7,000, in 2 years you have about $50,000, in 3 years you have about $350,000. In 4 years, starting from $1,000, you're a multimillionaire. That's the wonderful power of math. Now, if you do 5x a year, you go from 1 to 5,000 to 25,000 to 125 to 600, 3 million in 5 years. And if you're even able to double, you're still going to be a millionaire in 2, 4, 8, 16. I mean, yeah, you get the point. It happens fast if you're able to do it, and it can happen with a smaller amount of money. So that's what's at stake here. That's what the gains. And then on the other side is the losing. So the housing is going up at 20% a year right now. Cost of rent, if you're a renter, 20%. That's about doubling every 4 or 5 years. So 4xing in maybe 8 to 10 years, and 16, 32. Rent could be, you could be paying like $150,000 a month for rent in your lifetime. It could even be more with the way inflation's going. So those are the stakes. You could be a big winner, you could be a big loser. And I say that we could all be winners because stuff's getting cheaper when measured in terms of Bitcoin. Stuff's getting cheaper and measured in terms of people in the world. Why are we having this people getting poorer? Why are we having this wealth gap that's developing? Well, it's really because of the government printing money and giving to their cronies, and you not receiving it, me not receiving it, because we're not governors. Look at this little sheep. These sweet sheeps. We're not senators. We're not Congress people. We're not government contractors. We're not friends with these people. They're giving it to them. They're pouring water in our soup. They're making us poorer. So really that's the problem. It's been going on for 100 years, and it's reaching a climax. It's reaching an inflection point where it just can't go on that much longer because people are finding out, and also because there's an escape valve now, which is cryptocurrency. So I'm not going to tell you I'll try to tell you the exact moves that I made towards the end of the video, but I want to tell you about how I came to make these moves, because I think that's more important. So a lot of it I think is about books, the sort of books that I read and the people that I learned from, because I've got my dog's running over there chasing the sheep. Sheep. It's really more about the books we're reading in the things that we're learning to understand. So I don't want to just tell you to copy my moves or to make my moves. It's not really helpful if you don't understand, because if you don't understand, then you're going to have some other idea and you're going to make some other move and you're going to lose your money. So one thing that I want you to understand is when I talk about my gains here, one is that if I'm not very careful, I can lose them. I said I did it in a way that minimized taxes. I paid no taxes. I did it in a way that I also feel is sort of low risk. I did it in a way without trading. Something I learned is most traders, and I learned this from Nassim Taleb, Anti-Fragile, Black Swan. I learned this from the book What I Learned Losing $1 Million. Most traders lose everything eventually. Most traders lose money. So this isn't a trader philosophy, this is an investor philosophy. This is Warren Buffett, investor philosophy. But there's the value of understanding debt and leverage. Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He's helpful. He's a good guy to learn from. There's reading the Bitcoin Standard. There's reading, understanding about hyperinflation, reading about the death of money, reading about Zimbabwe and Weimar Germany, and also my dad fleeing nationalist China as the communists took power, dealing with hyperinflation there. You roll up to dinner with a suitcase full of money. It's real, but it's crazy. You have reading the Bitcoin Standard, reading Ethereum for Dummies is just trying to understand as much as possible. Reading about the Great Influenza of 1921, because that's relevant. Or sorry, 1918 to 1921. The Great Flu Epidemic, reading about Hyperinflation Survival Guide, reading about, all these books, Value Investing, reading Warren Buffett, reading about technological adoption, hatching Twitter, the book on Mark Zuckerberg, social, whatever, reading about Amazon, the Everything Store. Just expanding education allows you to, and reading a lot of history, Guns, Germs, and Steel, reading Sapiens, reading the parts about money, everything to sort of widen your standard. Like, I want you to realize as much as possible that the money that you have and you make is much more about the decisions that you make and much less about the work that you do. Because so I took 20,000 and turned it into 150,000. That was only 2 moves, basically, right? So, but there was a huge amount of time spent studying and planning and to make those 2 moves, right? It took a lot of balls to risk everything on these 2 moves, right? And I'm going to come back and talk about these 2 moves and additional moves, but really just a couple moves. But I just want you to understand that it's not about activity, and this is a beautiful thing, and something that I learned from Warren Buffett is, and Charlie Munger calls it assiduity, sitting your ass in a chair and reading, is Warren Buffett historically has been he's still one of the richest men in the world. Doesn't make a lot of moves, right? Only a couple moves here and there. A lot of thinking, a lot of studying, a lot of reading, a lot of deciding. I'm not saying don't work, but I mean, this is the beautiful thing about investing, is it works for you. That's really putting your money to work for you. And when you're doing this, you could go to work and you can make money. And this is part of my philosophy is the whole time is like, okay, I'm gonna treat it like investing, not a trader. I'm gonna make money on this. I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna make money in the real world, in the marketplace, and I'm gonna take that money and I'm gonna invest that money rather than trading. I want you to realize, like, trading is not only a way to lose money, but it's a way to lose money while spending a lot of time. So the people who make, usually, let me share a couple of philosophy. Like, I want to minimize mistakes, and one of the ways that you minimize mistakes is you minimize actions, you minimize decisions. So I made a decision, just a couple of decisions and just a couple actions to get that multiplier. And the reason I want to minimize decisions and actions is because every time you make a decision, you might make the wrong decision. Every time you take an action, you might make the wrong action. This is the difficulty in trading, is eventually you blow up, or you take too many actions where you make mistakes in actions, or you make too many decisions, you blow up in your decisions. Obviously, some people can be traders, but it's just for hardly anyone, not for most people. And also, the bigger problem is the lifestyle and the work that's spent around it, right? Is that you spend this time on the computer and stressing and have poor boundaries because you need to follow the markets. Or you could be an investor and you could, me, I spent that year on the farm, right? How do I look? Do I look good? Do I look okay? I spent a lot of time working out. I spent a little about the time on the computer. I did spend a lot of time reading, but 20 to 150, and again, that's my initial investment. I invested more and the multiplier wasn't as good later yet. Then, yeah, I mean, the initial investment went well. So, are we gonna get to the initial the strategy yet? Well, I'm about to tell you the strategy, and then I'm gonna let you know about the opportunity. But I just want to re-stress that you shouldn't copy my moves, but you should maybe read the same books that I've read, right? Or listen to the same people that I've listened to: Robert Breedlove, Michael Saylor, who else? I mean, even Elon Musk, Jack Dorsey. You listen to a certain podcast, what Bitcoin did. I'm giving you a lot of different resources in here. If you want me to say, hey, here's the exact moves to make, I'm not going to do that. I'm not a financial advisor, and even if I was, it's just not the right approach. So I'm going to tell you the moves that I made, but I just want you to understand that someone could tell you to make these moves and you wouldn't make them if you don't know why. So I want you to learn and lean into the why, and just start reading, start studying some of the books. You go back and take some of the books, some of the podcasts that I mentioned. Okay, now we're going to go into the moves that I made, and then I'm going to tell you what the opportunity is. The moves that I made, how to turn 20 into 150. I took $20,000 and I bought 2 Bitcoin at $10,000 each, and I did this like September of last year, so it's been about 13 months. And then, so I only made 2 moves. The first one was to buy the Bitcoin. The second one was to use those 2 Bitcoin as collateralized debt to buy a 3rd Bitcoin. And then maybe it's like 100, yeah, it's more than 150. It's like 175 and 165. Well, somewhere around there. That debt has since been paid off, and all the Bitcoin is in cold storage. But that's how the initial investment went from $20,000 to about 3 Bitcoin minus 15,000, because I bought the 3rd Bitcoin at about 15,000. So taking 20,000 and turning it into today about 160 in a year. And of course, again, there's more investments. And I'm not doing that to brag, but it's like, yo, I want to help you. I really want to help you guys. I really want to help you guys. I really want to help. So I have more moves coming up for Q4. I only made 2 moves, right? I only made 2 moves, and I did that, and I paid no taxes. And I have another 2 moves planned. I only made 2 moves in the first year. I have 2 moves planned for Q4 of this year and the start of 2021. I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'll tell you about it when it's done. And then those of you who stuck around to the very end, so I wanted you to stick around to the end to see if you're serious and you want to make a change like this. And what I'm thinking is creating a mastermind, a group, giving you access and just talking through and really formalizing all the books, all the book recommendations, and really being transparent in my strategy and what I'm doing. And yeah, creating like a crypto mastermind, really a Bitcoin mastermind. Getting, you know, 5, 10 guys in there, and and yeah, this could be for sort of new people. It could be for more advanced people. It's for people who really want to change their lives and who want to do it working with me financially. Again, there's a chance of losing money, or at least in the short term. So you should be in a reasonable financial situation already where you can invest money and wait a year and not need it to do anything. If that's something that you're interested in, I'm putting a link down below. That's just a link to a form. And the form is a questionnaire to see if you're, yeah, learn about you and if you're really interested. It's going to have a cost. It's going to cost, I don't know what's going to cost, but say like $100 a month. And then you can stay in it for 3, 4 months until you're up and running, and then pow, or just stick around. It might not cost that, but I'm just throwing that out there. It's going to have a cost. It might cost like $100 a month. If that's something that you're interested in, then fill out the form, and if enough people are interested in, then I'll reach out to you and we'll set it up, because it costs. I'm not going to do it if there's not interest, and I'm not going to do it if it's free. Not just because like I don't like to work for free. I like to work. I like to work for free. I'm doing it on YouTube for free right now, but people don't take advice seriously, and I want to be invested in people too. So I know you'll take it more seriously if there's a small investment from you. So if that sounds interesting, go fill out the form down below. Okay, appreciate you. Much love. Talk to you soon. And I really hope, 3 to 5 of you fill out the form, because if it's just one person, I don't think we'll take any action. And I know this isn't really what my channel is about all the time. But yeah, if you find it useful and interesting, get in there, and I will, we're going to learn a lot together. Sound good? Appreciate you. Much love, and look forward to seeing you in there. Peace.